the modes of nature is very important. And Krishna spends a lot of time, especially in the last chapters of Bhagavad Gita, in analyzing the modes of nature for what purpose? So that we can identify, this is mode of ignorance, this is mode of passion. Let me move up from there to the mode of goodness, so that from the mode of goodness I can make the jump, the leap into transcendence, into pure devotional service, right? So, yeah, so this theory which I'm giving is about wanting certain sort of basic things which may or may not have to do with needs. Sometimes it's important to make a distinction between a want and a need. We want so many things, and as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the intelligence can become many-branched as one pursues so many wants. Well, I'm suggesting that we can identify all those wants in terms of four and their opposites. And what I want to suggest is that all of this wanting is a perpetuation of ahamkara, and that we want to do the opposite. We want to practice becoming free of ahamkara. And what does Krishna say about practice in Bhagavad Gita? First of all, in chapter 6, Arjuna is complaining to Krishna about the impossibility of controlling the mind. What does Arjuna compare the mind to? The wind, indeed. And he says, what with respect to the wind? Do we have the Sanskrit?
Two verses or one verse?
I don't want the answer of Krishna.
No, Arjuna actually starts where he goes.
With two verses, yes.
Ayati Shariyoke Kal Yoga Chalamanasa Prapti Yoga Sansiddhim Kamdetim Krishna Dachati Chanchalam Himara Krishna Pramati Balava Tridam Kasiham Nidrahamanye Vayur Iva Suduskaram.
Vayur Iva Suduskaram. Yes, it's not only duskara, it's not only difficult to do, it's suduskara. It's very difficult to do. To do what? It's difficult to control the mind. How is it difficult to control the mind? Vayur Iva. It's like trying to control the wind. Can't be done, basically, he says. He's trying to say, just look, Krishna, don't even ask me to control my mind. It's not possible. And then what is Krishna's answer? Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnik graham chalam. First of all, he agrees with Arjuna. It's without a doubt difficult to control the mind. Asamshayam, there's no doubt. It is difficult to control the mind. Durnigraha, it is very difficult to nigraha, to grasp down, to control the mind. Why? Because chalam, it is flickering. Mm-hmm. But then what does Krishna say? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagena cha grihyate. Two things, abhyasa and vairagya. What does abhyasa mean? Practice. Now, practice, the word practice is interesting. Do we have some musicians in the room? Everyone's too humble to sing. Guitar player, come on. Bass guitar from earlier times? No? Here we go. No piano players? A little bit. Good. So practice involves repetition, doesn't it? You play scales on the piano, up and down, and you play them. I mean, I remember when I was very young, 5 years old, I had to practice piano. I gave up when I was 9. Now I play harmonium. It's easier. So practice means repetition. And it also means developing of a habit. Mm-hmm. So what I want to suggest is that we can practice dealing with these emotions which we have just listed. And Krishna gives 2 things. He says, abhyasa, practice, and vairagya. What is vairagya?
Absence of raga.
The absence of raga. And what is raga? Attachment, right? So vairagya, the absence of attachment. And the absence of attachment, we say detachment. How does one practice detachment? Normally we think of detachment in terms of letting, of renunciation of things. When I first joined the temple, on the first day, not the first day I was in the temple, a few days later, actually I was in Stuttgart, and then I was asked to go to Heidelberg Temple. And in Heidelberg Temple, which the devotees had just acquired a few weeks before, the devotees did not yet know how they were going to pay the next month's rent. They had no idea how they were going to pay the rent. And so the temple president asked me, "Do you have a bank account?" And I said, "Well, yes." "How much?" And I told him it was a few hundred Deutschmarks. And he said, "Shall we go empty it out? I can help you so that we can pay the rent." And I said, "Okay, but can I keep something to give to Prabhupada as a dakshina, because it was already scheduled that I would be initiated in a few days." I was 3 weeks in the temple. Anyway, so that's, in those days, the buzzer was shave them up and give them a Hare Krishna name. So yeah, renunciation at that time meant, giving up material objects. But I want to suggest that renunciation is also about giving up emotions. But this giving up of emotions cannot be done artificially. That's important. If it's done artificially, it won't work.